Hello, and welcome to V. Scott Speaks, where I give you news, poetry, black history, and scandals. Well, today we are covering news about voter intimidation in the state of Texas. Yes, I'll be reading from NBCnews.com, and then I will play the video clip from KSAT News. Texas AG raised homes of Latino civil rights group members setting up a voting rights shutdown. The raids have triggered outrage and cries of voter suppression in a state with a long history of discrimination against citizens of Mexican descent, which helped give rise to LULAC. Raids on homes of several Democrats in South Texas, in what the state attorney general said is an ongoing election integrity investigation, has set off a shutdown with the nation's oldest Latino civil rights group. The August 20th raids targeted Manuel Medina, chair of the Taino Democrats, several members of the League of United Latin American Citizens, a state house candidate, and a local area mayor. Linda Martinez, who volunteers for LULAC and also does voter registration, questioned the search of all her belongings. The raids have triggered outrage and accusations of voter suppression in a state with a long history of discrimination against its citizens of Mexican descent, which gave rise to LULAC in 1929. On Monday morning, LULAC's leaders, state legislators, activists of other Latino groups, and supporters, and some of the people whose homes were raided, protested outside the San Antonio office of Attorney General Ken Paxton, a Republican. This is point-blank voter intimidation, and LULAC will fight for the right of every Latino to exercise the right to vote, said the national president of LULAC.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, is alleging that Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is oppressing Latino and Black voters after raids at the homes of several Democrats.
Well, they held a press conference this morning in San Antonio, and our Devin Karp was there and tells us what they plan to do moving forward.
Members of LULAC stood in front of Texas Attorney General's office in San Antonio with passion cries of injustice, accusing Ken Paxton of using voter suppression and intimidation techniques for political gain. This move comes after several Democrats' houses were raided by the Election Integrity Office, including 87-year-old grandmother Lydia Martinez, who's worked with LULAC for her whole life to register voters in Texas, mostly seniors. She said she had just gotten out of the hospital for COVID-19 last week when 9 armed officers arrived at her house at 5 in the morning, searching her belongings, seizing her phone, and questioning her about the actions of several other LULAC members. She says her family wants her to stop helping to register voters. She says she won't be intimidated.
I don't want this happening to anybody else. You know, they're trying to stop us from registering voters and helping, especially the seniors. If I don't go out there, and if their voter registration is expired, some of them are in wheelchairs. They don't have a way to be going to the elections office and getting them.
In response to this, LULAC officials say they plan to file a complaint with the Justice Department against Ken Paxton. Paxton said a 2-year investigation provided, quote, sufficient evidence that Democrats had illegally harvested votes from multiple local races in recent years. LULAC organizers say they still plan to continue to help as many eligible voters register as they can, with the election just 70 days away. I'm Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.